Are you ready?
Yes.
And for the thousands in attendance.
There it is. There it
And the
is.
millions.
I haven't watched today.
around the
I
world.
assume your intro is us talking about.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Three Cellars Advent Calendar here in 2024 Milwaukee Beer Review. As always, I'm Josh.
I'm Ross.
I'm Lau.
And we are all back. It is day 7. We are almost done with the first full week of these beers. It's day 7. We're going to crack right in. I have no idea what this is. I think both of you do.
I do.
Okay. Day 7, I'm going to pop the box open. I don't know. Oh, my God.
You can do it.
I ripped that. That's not good. Okay. All right. We've got... Oh. Ooh. We have got Bourbon Trail from Lion's Tail. So this is a big bourbon barrel-aged stout from them. They release Bourbon Trail every single year. In different, they release multiple different variants of it, aged in different bourbon barrels. This one is specifically.
Your Rinse Witherspoon is done.
This one is specifically Weller bourbon barrels. Our laundry's done, by the way. Yeah, this is usually a pretty fun series every single year. This is a heck of a stout. I think, 12.8% ABV. This is a Milwaukee Beer Review beer, for sure.
It's a dumb thing. I know it's a weird thing, but the aesthetics of the whole black can, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just love that look. I think it's such a cool look for a can. It's a dumb thing to like, but I just wanted to point that out.
It is cool.
And I was like, okay, that's cool.
So,
Lau, have you ever had Bourbon Trail?
Nope.
you know anything by Lion's Tail?
Nope.
Oh, cool.
Now you have. Well,
So-
not yet.
This is a new experience for me, and I'm excited.
This should pour out pretty jet black. Yeah, pretty dark, which is what we expect from those barrel-aged stouts. Watch Ross pour. Look at him. Pretty.
I got
Pretty.
it.
That's crazy. That's cool.
Appropriate glassware. Yeah, pretty standard looking barrel-aged stout. Nice copper head on that. Nothing too crazy.
To the nose.
To the nose. Yeah.
That's spirit forward.
I was gonna say that's
Mhm.
bourbon.
That's a
Yeah.
great bourbon note.
It really is.
That is bourbon.
You get a lot of that like stout sweetness behind it too, like some chocolate. It smells very chocolatey.
Yeah.
Little vanilla. Maybe some dark
Mhm.
fruits.
Yeah, but we do quite a barrel-aged beers on here, and there are some where it's like, yeah, the spirit's there. This is prominent, and I think it's not in a bad way. I think it's really good. I think it's really pleasant down the nose, personally. I think they do a really good job balancing that.
Smells like fresh bourbon.
It really does. I get a little bit of the chocolate, but like it is just it's bourbon.
Well, it's the Bourbon Trail. Let's check it out.
Cheers.
It's a little thin on the palate. There's not really a lot of viscosity behind this one. The prominent bourbon in the nose is still very prominent on the palate as well. I like it. I think it's a nice, strong spirit taste to it. Almost to the point where, in my opinion, and this is going to sound weird, the spirit overpowers the barrel characteristics that we normally sometimes get. I think there's sometimes in some of the barrel aged beers we drink a little more fudgy vanilla-ness, some of that char. This is just very much more bourbon forward. We've talked about like gateway beers. Like, yeah, if you don't like barrel aged beers, you don't like this might be the one to go with. This is not the one to go with. If you don't like barrel aged beers or you don't like spirits in beers, I think this is going to be a little bit too powerful for you. My thoughts.
I'm curious what Lau thinks, because I disagree with Ross.
Okie dokie.
I don't know if mine's just because it's like super, super cold. And I feel like these need to kind of warm up a little bit. This has been sitting in the garage to really get a lot of those flavors to kind of tease out. I get a lot of bourbon as well. Like, it's not in a bad way. It's in a pleasant way for me. I like it. I'm not a huge barrel aged fan like you two. I sometimes get flavors I don't like out of these. I don't get that here. But I'm wondering if it's because it's so cold that it's kind of pushed some of those other flavors down, and it's just pushing forward the stout and the barrel aged and the bourbon. Because that's what I'm getting. I agree that I think it's kind of like not thin, but it's like easy to drink compared to some other 12% bourbon barrel ones that I've had before.
All right. So Josh, tell us your wrong opinion.
It is hot. I mean, it definitely has a heck of a bourbon kick up front, but it's a really smooth bourbon kick. Like, it's not like a crazy like bite of like a poor bourbon. Like, this is good bourbon, and it came out of good, strong bourbon barrels where the bourbon itself was good, and that is very, very clear in this. In my opinion, it starts off a little hot, but then I do get a little bit more viscosity to it. I don't think it's super thin. It's not super thick either, but it's got a nice creamy affect to it. And I feel like this beer flirts a little bit more towards the creamier side than the thin, like carbonated side that sometimes you get out of some of these beers. I do think it steers a little more chocolate vanilla creaminess mid palate and out the back, and the bourbon cools off a little bit, but it stays there. But again, it's that really good bourbon character, so I'm not sad about that at all. I've had quite a few different variants of Bourbon Trail in the past, and I haven't liked them very much. This is easily the best one I've ever had. Like, this is easily the best variant of this that I've tried, for sure.
I really like this.
Yeah.
Compared to some other ones, sometimes you get these, and to me, they taste very syrupy, very thick, and there's this weird aftertaste that I have not figured out what it is that I just cannot stand. This has none of that. This has got, it's not thin, but it's got a just drinkability to it that I don't think I've ever seen in a bourbon barrel-aged stout that I've had before.
So I agree with what you guys are saying. I agree with what you're saying, Josh. Like, the bourbon's really good. Like, I hope, like, I did not come across one saying, like, I don't like the bourbon note. I love the bourbon note of this. Like, this is fantastic. And I agree with you what you're saying about the previous ones I've had. I think we had one of these in the box either last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was last year, I think.
I don't remember which one it was. I thought it was like a green, like
it was.
Huh?
Yeah, it was. I can't remember which one it was.
I really didn't like it. I was so disappointed because I really like Lion's Tail. I've had some of their barrel aged stuff. I had some of their basic, like the regular beers. I think they make some fantastic beers. And I think it's not to go on a Lion's Tail rant here, but I think what they do so well is you can go in there and there's a beer for any person who likes beer. They have everything under the sun there. So it's disappointing last year, but this is fantastic. I think this is really well done.
Yeah.
It's probably the best barrel aged beer I've had from them at this point. And the Weller on it is just fantastic. It's such a good spirit for this.
There's no like adjunct to this, right? Because
no adjuncts.
It really, to me, is like you took a shot of bourbon and dropped it in a stout, and I'm drinking it. Like, I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's what what is going on.
It's a pretty. I mean, it depends on what to drink, but I think that's an accurate depiction. Yeah. Okay. So the Weller Bourbon Trail from Lion's Tail. Thanks, Three Cellars, for this one. Ross, we're going to start with you. Where are you going?
This is the best we've had so far in the box. I'm going a really, really strong 4.25. It's not quite 4.5. I just don't have it at 4.5, but it's the best 4.25 I've graded so far in the box. So I'll say 4.25. Really good, really well done.
Wow.
I think I'm going to go right there with Ross. I think that's the highest score I've given out, and it's probably on the top or right next to the top of the beers that I've had so far in this box. This is not necessarily my favorite style of beer. I'm not as big of a big bourbon barrel-aged stout as you guys, but this is really solid, and this is really drinkable and delicious, coming in at the 12% that it's at.
Well, clean sweep. I'm going 4.25 also. I think this is a really good beer. This is flirting with a 4.5 beer for me because that spirit is so good in here. I think if this was adjuncted with something that gave it a little bit of pop, it would probably hit that mark for me. But it's a really strong 4.25. Well done, Lion's Tail. And Three Cellars. Awesome to see a beer like this again in the box this year. So super fun. Day 7 in the books. We are officially 1 week through this giant box of beer. Have you tried this one? Have you tried the Bourbon Trail series from Lion's Tail? What do you think about the Weller infused barrel-aged beer here? Thanks for watching. We'll see you all on day 8.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.